reflections on the pane hold a trace I cannot name. Not a voice, not even sound, just a softness that remains in the space between the lines where the hours drift away. There's a feeling left behind that no words could ever say. Time has thinned the sharper edges, turned them into something light. Yet beneath the quiet surface, there's a shadow made of light. I don't reach for what has faded, I don't call it back again. Still, it settles in the silence like a calm that won't descend. Not a memory I keep, not a dream I try to hold, just a presence barely there, in a tone both soft and cold. Quiet afterglow in the corners of my mind, not in warmth, not in the dark, but in something undefined, like a trace across the air that no distance can erase. There's a light that lingers low in a still and distant place. Empty chairs and passing lights leave a pattern I can feel. In the hush of what remains, there's a truth that won't reveal. Every step I take ahead moves me further from the known. Yet within the quiet hours, there's a sense I'm not alone. Quiet afterglow, not to guide or lead me back, but to mark the fragile line of a life I used to track. In the breath I've come to slow, in the calm I've come to know, there's a faint and steady glow. Quiet afterglow. I once thought it would dissolve into something I could lose, but it settled into form in the spaces I now choose. Quiet afterglow in the places words fall through, not in all we tried to say, but in all we never knew. Has changed its flow. There's a trace I carry still. Quiet afterglow. So I walk without a sound through the life I've come to know, with a light that barely stays. Quiet afterglow. Evening settles soft and slow, like a whisper on the air. Light is fading from the sky, leaving traces everywhere. There were moments in that glow when your hand was close to mine. In the quiet turning hours, we had nowhere else to find. Shadows stretch along the walls like the days we left behind. Every silence in this room carries pieces of your time. Through the calm of everything, there's a feeling I still keep. In the shape of this still night, you are closer than you seem. Though the world has moved away from the place we used to stay, there's a softness in the dusk that still brings you back to me. In the shape of a gentle evening, I can feel you standing near, like a memory slowly breathing. In the silence I still hear. Though the night has come between us and the light has faded through, in the calm of every moment, I am still with you. Empty streets and quiet lights hold the echoes of your name. In the stillness of this hour, nothing ever feels the same. Every step I take alone leads me somewhere we have been. In the softness of the dusk, I can feel you once again. In the shape of a gentle evening, every shadow feels like you. Like a dream I keep believing, though I know it isn't true. Even when the dark surrounds me and the world has turned away, in the hush of every twilight, you are here to stay. I try to let it disappear, like the light beyond the day, but the calm that fills the night always brings your voice my way. In the shape of a gentle evening, there's a place where you remain. In the stillness of the fading, in the softness of the pain. Though the years have drawn a distance that I cannot undo, in the quiet of this evening, I am still with you. So I stay within the calm, where the light and shadows blend. In the shape of gentle evenings, you are with me till the end. Glass holds a shift in view, droplets racing down in lines. Neon melts into the dark, blurring edges, softening signs. Fingers circle cooling cups, tracing rings that slowly fade. Voices pass beyond the door. None of them the ones we made. Passing shadows lose their shape before they ever reach my name. Your reflection in the rain moves along the window pane. Not a face I clearly see, but it feels too close to me. Your reflection in the rain fades before it can remain. In the space it disappears, something quiet still appears. Streetlight flickers out of time. Colors spill and rearrange. Every step beyond the glass seems familiar, yet estranged. Your reflection in the rain slips between the drops again. Not a voice that calls me back, just a trace I can't detach. Your reflection in the rain draws a line I can't explain. In the rhythm of the fall, there's a meaning in it all. Nothing waits beyond the frame, nothing asks me to recall. Still the silence in between holds the shape of something small. Your reflection in the rain doesn't ask me to remain. Still it lingers as it goes, in a way that no one knows. Your reflection in the rain, not in loss and not in pain, but in moments passing through, leaving something almost true. Morning washes out the glass, every trace is pulled away. Still a feeling softly stays from a night that couldn't stay.
Curtains open to the gray of a sky that won't decide whether rain will come or pass. Still it lingers undefined. Letters left between the pages of a book I couldn't close. Every line I tried to keep slips into what no one knows. Nothing special marks this day, still it pulls me back to you. For some reason I miss you today, in the way the light won't stay. Not in words I meant to say, but in all that drifts away. For some reason I miss you today, through a calm I can't explain. In the middle of it all, there's a trace I can't contain. streetlights flicker out of time, though the morning's still not gone. People pass in quiet lines, each one moving on and on. For some reason I miss you today, not because I lost my way, but because the smallest things turn and lead me back to you. For some reason I miss you today. In the rhythm of the rain, every drop becomes a thought that returns to you again. Maybe it's the color of the air, or the silence in between. Something in the shape of now feels exactly like you've been. For some reason I miss you today. In a world that stays the same, nothing calls your name out loud, still I hear it just the same. For some reason I miss you today, not in longing, not in pain, but in how you softly stay in the hours I can't contain. Evening falls without a sound, nothing asks me to explain, still I carry through the night why I miss you just the same.
Raindrops gather on the glass, falling in uneven lines. Petals drift along the street, carried softly out of time. Windows hold a blurred reflection of a season turning slow. Every color feels familiar from a place I used to know. Nothing calls it back again, still it stays within the air. Watching the spring rain, I think of our memories, not in words we left behind, but in quiet melodies. Watching the spring rain as the moments reappear, in the way the world grows still, I can almost feel you here. Sidewalks shine beneath the light, footsteps fade without a trace. Passing faces come and go, none of them can take your place. Watching the spring rain, I think of our memories in the rhythm of the drops falling through the silent streets. Watching the spring rain through the calm I cannot hide, every second brings you back in a way I can't deny. Maybe it's the scent of air or the softness in the breeze. Something in the falling rain brings you closer back to me. Watching the spring rain, I think of our memories in a world that moves ahead. you remain inside of me. Watching the spring rain as the colors slowly fade, there's a part that still belongs to the time we never changed. Morning comes without a sound, wiping every trace away. Still I hold the quiet rain that brought you back today. Photographs along the shelf catch a softer shade of time, edges worn from passing days hold the trace of what was mine. Window frames the fading sky, colors melt from gold to gray. Every corner of this room keeps the things we couldn't say. Nothing asks me to return, still it stays within the air. Memories of the love we had drift across the quiet night, not in words we tried to keep, but in how we held them tight. Memories of the love we had in the space they left behind. There's a rhythm moving on through the corners of my mind. Streetlights shimmer on the rain, drawing lines I can't erase. Every step I take alone finds a shadow in your place. Memories of the love we had, not because I need them now, but because they found a way to remain without a sound. Memories of the love we had through the years that slipped away. In the calm of everything, they return without a name. Somewhere in another time, we were more than passing through. Still a trace of what we were moves in everything I do. Memories of a love we had in a world that carries on, not in endings we can name, but in what is never gone. Memories of a love we had through the silence of the years. There's a quiet kind of truth only memory can hear. Morning falls across the room, washing everything in light. Still the past remains with me in the hush of every night.
was soft and low. There's a feeling I still keep from a time not long ago. Nothing calls it back again, nothing asks it to remain. Still it lingers in my heart like a quiet kind of rain. We were closer than the night, we were softer than the air. In the silence of that time, there was nothing left to spare. I don't try to bring it back, I don't follow where it goes. Still I feel it moving through in a way that no one knows. The night you stayed with me still lives inside my days, not in words we used to say, but in all the quiet ways. The night you stayed with me in a warmth I can't replace. There's a part of you that stays, I can never quite erase. Empty streets and passing lights carry pieces of your name. In the rhythm of my breath, nothing ever feels the same. Every step I take ahead feels a little less complete. Still I walk within the calm where your memory and I meet. The night you stayed with me, not to bring it back again, but to hold it as it was, in the silence deep within. The night you stayed with me in a way that doesn't fade. There's a warmth I still can feel in the choices that we made. I once thought it would be gone like a shadow in the dawn, but it settled into me long after you were gone. The night you stayed with me in the quiet of my mind, not in all we tried to keep, but in what we left behind. The night you stayed with me, there's a place I still can see. In the calm of everything, you are still a part of me. So I move with gentle steps through the life I've come to know, with a warmth that softly stays from a night so long ago.
Walking down this street so long, in my heart a love once strong. Gentle breeze wraps around me tight, calling back memories of a night. I'll remember this moment forever, under the stars, our stories tethered, melodies of love forever echoing, for the sun forgot planting dreams in the moonlight. Let's not forget the vows we made, even as time slowly fades. I'll remember this moment forever. Under the stars, our stories tethered, melodies of love forever echoing for this unforgettable time we are knowing. As if time stands still, just you and me, holding hands as we stroll with glee. The traces of love that time has left will remain with us, our hearts cleft. I'll remember this moment forever. Under the stars, our stories tethered, melodies of love forever echoing for this unforgettable time we are knowing. Meeting again on these streets of gold, a precious love that will never grow old. I'll cherish this moment, never let it stray. Under the stars, you and I will stay. Faded lines along the walls hold the shape of who I was. In the quiet of this room, I can feel what lingers on. Not in pictures left behind, not in words I used to say, but in something deeply set that the years could not erase. Time has carried moments far, like a river out of sight. Yet beneath its steady flow, there are embers holding light. Every step I take ahead feels connected to that place where a younger heart once lived, without knowing what to chase. I don't try to bring it back, I don't ask it to remain. Still it moves within my breath, like a soft and steady flame. Remnants of my youth, in the quiet of my soul, not as something lost in time, but as parts that made me whole. In the calm of who I am, in the path I've come to choose, there's a gentle trace of life, remnants of my youth. Passing days in softer tones shape a piece I couldn't name. In the rhythm I have found, there's a quiet kind of grace. Every choice I come to make carries echoes echoes deep and true. In the stillness of my life, there's a part that once was you. Remnants of my youth, not to hold what slipped away, but to carry something real through the turning of each day. In the breath I've learned to trust, in the strength I've come to use, there's a quiet light that stays. Remnants of my youth. I once thought they'd fade to gray like a dream I couldn't keep, but they settled into form in the places running deep. Remnants of my youth, in the spaces words can't reach. Not in all I tried to say, but in all they came to teach. Though the years have moved along and the world has changed its view, there's a truth I carry still. Remnants of my youth. So I walk in steady peace through the life I've come to know, with a heart that softly holds every trace that helped me grow. Paper rest beneath my hand, lines I never chose to send. Ink has dried along the page where the words refuse to end. Windows gather distant noise, cars dissolve in evening light. Something hums without a name, barely there but feels like right. Every note I couldn't play found a place it couldn't stay. A melody you never heard moves between the days and nights, not in sound or spoken lines, but in things I couldn't write. A melody you never heard fades before it can be known. Still it lingers in the air, like a truth I've never shown. Street lights flicker down the road, shadows stretch then disappear. Steps align with passing time, nothing stays and nothing's clear. A melody you never heard drifts along the empty space, not a song to call you back, just a trace I can't erase. A melody you never heard, in the rhythm I conceal, something quiet still remains in the way I try to feel. Somewhere in another frame it might have found a voice to be, but it settled here instead as a part of what I keep. A melody you never heard doesn't ask to be complete, still it circles quietly in the silence underneath. A melody you never heard, not in loss and not in pain, but in moments left behind, where it almost found your name. Morning folds the night away. Nothing written, nothing said. Still the echo lingers on of the song that never led. The city lights are fading into gray. The rush of voices starts to drift away. I was lost in the rhythm of the rain, looking for a spark to hide the pain. Then you stepped into the frame, and everything started to change. The world is spinning a little too fast, but in this moment I know it'll last. I don't need a map, I don't need a sign, as long as your hand is resting in mine. 'Cause if I'm with you, the stars align. If I'm with you, I'm doing fine. Through the coldest night and the shadows too, everything is gold if I'm with you. It's only you. The morning coffee, the quiet in the hall. You're the melody that answers every call. We don't need words to fill up the space. I find my peace just looking at your face. Let the seasons leave their trace. We're in our own secret place. The world is spinning a little too fast, but in this moment I know it'll last. I don't need a map, I don't need a sign, as long as your hand is resting in mine. 'Cause if I'm with you, the stars align. If I'm with you, I'm doing fine. Through the coldest night and the shadows too, everything is gold if I'm with you. Beyond the horizon, where the blue meets the sea, that's where I'll be if you're there with me. No more searching, no more used to be. You're the only truth I see. 'Cause if I'm with you, the stars align. If I'm with you, I'm doing fine. Through the coldest night and the shadows too, everything is gold if I'm with you. If I'm with you, it's a beautiful view, just me and you. Sunlight rested on your sleeve as you leaned against the door. Every word we didn't say felt like something we were sure. Porcelain cups left to cool by the window facing west. Afternoons would slow themselves like they knew we needed rest. Nothing asked for more than this. In the quiet we became. You were my happiness. In the way the moments stayed, not in things we tried to hold, but in how they gently played. You were my happiness. Through the hours soft and long, in the calm of what we had, there was nothing ever wrong. Street lights flicker into view, drawing gold along the rain. Every step I take alone finds your shadow once again. You were my happiness, not a dream I held too tight, but a truth that moved with me through the passing of each night. You were my happiness, in a way I can't replace. Every corner of my days still remembers you in place. Somewhere time has carried you far beyond the life we knew. Still a trace remains with me in the simplest things I do. You were my happiness in a world that couldn't stay, not in endings we can name, but in what won't fade away. You were my happiness through the years that came and went. In the rhythm of it all, there's a mark of what it meant. Morning falls across the room, everything begins anew. Still I carry quietly all the light I found in you. Photographs along the shelf catch a softer shade of time. Edges worn from passing days hold the trace of what was mine. Window frames the fading sky, colors melt from gold to gray. Every corner of this room keeps the things we couldn't say. Nothing asked me to return. Still it stays within the air. Memories of a love we had drift across the quiet night. Not in words we tried to keep, but in how we held them tight. Memories of a love we had in the space they left behind. There's a rhythm moving on through the corners of my mind. Every step I take alone finds a shadow in your place. Memories of a love we had, not because I need them now, but because they found a way to remain without a sound. Memories of a love we had through the years that slipped away. In the calm of everything, they return without a name. Somewhere in another time, we were more than passing through. Still a trace of what we were moves in everything I do. Memories of a love we had in a world that carries on, not in endings we can name, but in what is never gone. Memories of a love we had through the silence of the years. There's a quiet kind of truth only memory can hear. Morning falls across the room, washing everything in light. Still the past remains with me in the hush of every night. Petals drift without a sound, settling where we once stood still. In the hush of gentle air, there's a trace I carry still. Not in words we tried to hold, not in promises we made, but in something quietly lived, in the light that never fades. Time has moved with careful grace, turning colors into air. Yet beneath the bloom of days, there's a truth still resting there. I don't search for what has gone, I don't call it back again. Still it lingers in the calm, like a place I've always been. Not a story left undone, not a dream that slipped away, just a love that found its place in a softer kind of stay. A love beneath the blossoms, where the quiet moments grew. In the shade of passing seasons, there was always me and you. Not in longing, not in loss, but in all we came to be. There's a warmth that gently lives in the life inside of me. Fading light through empty paths paints a picture soft and slow. In the stillness I have found, there are things I've come to know. Every breath I take in calm holds a feeling I can trust. In the roots beneath it all, there's a love that doesn't rush. A love beneath the blossoms, not confined to time or place, but in every quiet turning, in the calm I now embrace, in the rhythm of my days, in the peace I've learned to keep. There's a trace of something true, flowing steady, running deep. I once thought it had to end, like the flowers in the wind, but it settled into form, far beneath the changing skin. A love beneath the blossoms, in the space that time can't claim, not in all we tried to say, but in what has stayed the same. Though the seasons come and go, and the years begin to roam, there's a gentle light I keep, in a place I call my own. So I walk with quiet ease, through the paths I've come to know, with a love that softly stays beneath blossoms long ago.
Morning slips through dusty glass, resting softly on the floor. A wooden chair beside the frame waits the way it did before. Footsteps fade along the hall, nothing turns to check the sound. A folded note without a line lies exactly where it's found. Corners keep what voices lose, not in words but subtle clues. The chair by the window stays, holding light that moves too slow, not for someone to return, just for something it once knew. The chair by the window stands in a quiet, careful place, not a sign of what is gone, but a trace it won't erase. Evening leans against the walls, shadows stretch and intertwine. Curtains breathe a silent shift, tracing shapes that once were mine. The chair by the window stays where the daylight used to fall. Nothing asked for more than this, just a space that holds it all. The chair by the window waits, not for steps or for a name, only for the passing light that returns but not the same. Some things settle into still, not because they chose to stay, but because the world moved on. chair by the window stays through the hours drifting by, not in hope or in regret, just beneath an open sky. The chair by the window stands where the quiet learns to grow. In the absence of a voice, there's a truth it came to know. Night arrives without a sound, leaving everything in place, with a chair beside the glass, holding time it can't replace.
Faded lines along the walls hold the shape of who I was. In the quiet of this room, I can feel what lingers on. Not in pictures left behind, not in words I used to say, but in something deeply set that the years could not erase. Time has carried moments far, like a river out of sight, yet beneath its steady flow, there are embers holding light. Every step I take ahead feels connected to that place where a younger heart once lived, without knowing what to chase. I don't try to bring it back, I don't ask it to remain. Still it moves within my breath, like a soft and steady flame. Remnants of my youth, in the quiet of my soul, not as something lost in time, but as parts that made me whole. In the calm of who I am, in the path I've come to choose, there's a gentle trace of life. Remnants of my youth. Passing days in softer tones shape a piece I couldn't name. In the rhythm I have found, there's a quiet kind of grace. Every choice I come to make carries echoes deep and true. In the stillness of my life, there's a part that once was you. Remnants of my youth, not to hold what slipped away, but to carry something real through the turning of each day. In the breath I've learned to trust, in the strength I've come to use, there's a quiet light that stays. Remnants of my youth. I once thought they'd fade to gray, like a dream I couldn't keep, but they settled into form in the places running deep. Remnants of my youth, in the spaces words can't reach, not in all I tried to say, but in all they came to teach. Though the years have moved along and the world has changed its view, there's a truth I carry still. Remnants of my youth. So I walk in steady peace through the life I've come to know. with a heart that softly holds every trace that helped me grow.
Fading light along the room, shadows resting where you stood. Nothing moves, yet something stays. In a way I understood. Quiet steps across the floor, echo soft but never gone. In the stillness I remain, listening to what lives on. Days have folded into years, edges blurred but never erased. Time has softened every line, still your presence leaves a trace. I don't reach for what has passed, I don't call it back again. Yet beneath the calm I hold, there's a space that won't descend. Not a voice that calls my name, not a dream I try to keep, just a silence warm and low, breathing gently, running deep. Where silence remembers every word we never said. In the hush between the moments, something lingers, softly spread. Where silence remembers, not in sorrow, not in pain, but in quiet hidden places where the heart recalls again. Empty streets and distant lights pass me slowly as I go. Nothing asks me to return, nothing pulls me from this flow. Yet within the quiet air there's a warmth I can't deny, like a trace of something true, living gently deep inside. Where silence remembers not to bring me back in time, but to hold what once was ours in a way that feels like mine. Where silence remembers through the calm I've come to know, there's a presence without sound, still remaining soft and low. I once thought it would fade, like a whisper in the rain, but it's settled into stillness, and it never left again. Where silence remembers in the space I cannot see, not in all we tried to hold, but in what has stayed with me. Though the world keeps moving on and the days no longer bend, there's a quiet place inside where it lives without an end. So I walk within the calm, letting time move as it will, with a memory made of silence that remains within me still.
where your footsteps used to stay. A quiet line across the room marks the place you walked away. Shadows stretch along the wall as the evening fades to blue. Every hour leans the same without leading back to you. Time moves slower in this space where nothing asked me to forget. I waited where you left me through the turning of the days, not in hope or in despair, just in all the silent ways. I waited where you left me while the seasons changed their tone. In the place you stepped away, I was never fully gone. Streetlights flicker into life, painting gold across the rain. People pass without a trace. None of them will say your name. I waited where you left me, not to call you back again, but to hold what once was ours in the quiet of within. I waited where you left me, even as the years went by. In the stillness I became someone time could not deny. Somewhere far beyond this place, you have learned to let it go. Still I stand within the frame of a life I used to know. I waited where you left me, not because I couldn't move, but because that single step was the last I shared with you. I waited where you left me, in a world that carried on through the passing of it all. You were never truly gone. Morning falls across the floor. Nothing asks me to remain. Still I leave the door as is, in case you return again.
Sunlight slips along the floor through a line the curtains make. Dust turns softly in the air, every second wide awake. Fingers brush against a cup, porcelain holds a gentle heat. Nothing asks to be defined, still the moment feels complete. Something moves things without a name, barely there, but clear and true. Love in its quiet beginning finds a way to softly stay, not in promises or plans, but in how we lean this way. Love in its quiet beginning, in the calm of what we share, there's a meaning taking shape in the space between the air. Evening settles slow and warm shadows fall without a sound. Every glance becomes a line, drawing circles all around. Love in its quiet beginning doesn't ask to be declared, still it grows within the hush of a moment left unpaired. Love in its quiet beginning, through the hours passing by, there's a rhythm we can feel without asking how or why. Somewhere words might come too soon, breaking what is barely formed. Still we stay within the space where the silence feels so warm. Love in its quiet beginning, in a world that rushes past, there's a softness we can keep, even if it doesn't last. Love in its quiet beginning, not a flame that needs to rise, but a light that slowly lives in the depth of quiet eyes. Morning waits beyond the frame, nothing changes yet it's new. In the stillness of the start, something just became us two.